Here at home, a group of health professionals in Maine is warning that an epidemic of fear can be just as dangerous as an epidemic with a virus. They are supporting a local nurse pushing back against efforts to quarantine her as a precaution against Ebola. Senior correspondent Rick Leventhal is on top of that tonight.
Casey Hickox openly defying Maine's 21-day quarantine order, leaving her Fort Kent home for a bike ride with her boyfriend. State troopers trailed her but couldn't stop her because a judge hadn't yet issued an order mandating her arrest if she violated guidelines. Hickox says she's not a threat because she doesn't have Ebola. She isn't sick and has no symptoms, and her legal team is vowing to fight what it calls her unconstitutional confinement.
Did you talk about taking this step last night? Did you guys consider
No, I didn't. You know, this morning, Ted and I just said we want to go for a bike ride.
You woke up and you wanted to ride. Something that you guys do often?
We do, yeah. Thank you guys. I have to go speak with the health department now.
The state health commissioner says the quarantine is a common sense approach and applies to anyone who had direct contact with Ebola patients, since the disease may not surface for up to 3 weeks after exposure. And it says Hickox should show as much concern for the people of Maine as she has for the people of Sierra Leone.
Concerns about the lack of reliability and the lack of trustworthiness in the information that has been received, and the basis upon which you determine risk is the ability to know the epidemiological history of any individual's exposure. You need to be able to have trust and credibility in that information. That makes her a higher risk.
Today, the governor's office said they spent hours trying to negotiate, but as a result of the failed effort to reach an agreement, the governor will exercise the full extent of his authority allowable by law. There are dozens of others being quarantined or monitored for Ebola in numerous states, some voluntarily, others by order. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, says Ebola has no greater friend than fear.
We all hear those voices of fear in our heads. That is what makes us human. The challenge, especially for leaders, is not to let them rule us.
The feds are desperately trying to encourage healthcare workers to continue battling Ebola on the front lines in West Africa. Meanwhile, the one patient with Ebola here in America, Dr. Craig Spencer, is still in isolation here at Bellevue Hospital in serious but stable condition.